Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. The R-Rated Podcast. This week's guest is...
Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. Today's new guest is Abe the Freak, and he is an artist and a rapper. So, to start things off, I'm going to have to ask the obvious question. How did you get your name?
The name,
How did you come up with Abe the Freak? Because, I mean, a stage name is pretty important, right? So,
of course.
How did this... Are you a freak?
Well, we're on the R-Rated Podcast, so maybe I could give you the full story.
No, please. I want the real juicy story. Because I'm like, anyone who calls himself a freak, like, there's a story behind that.
We got to find out, right? Well, actually, this is one of the biggest questions that I keep getting asked, and I always kind of cut it. Yeah. But basically, we were in Vegas, so like, it starts off, first of all, we're in Vegas. So you already know it's going somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, we just went out for me and my buddies, we were at a club and started drinking. And so it was just one of those nights for me. I was like, really wanted to dance. And I was dancing with this girl and it got pretty...
What kind of dancing?
Well...
I'm assuming it wasn't slow dancing.
It was, if you could call it dancing, I guess. I don't know. Basically, what happened the next day is that I woke up and I was already kind of drunk and I don't remember a lot of it.
Okay,
so
you might have blacked out.
Maybe a little bit. And so when the homies start texting me and they're like, hey, how was it? This and that. Yeah. And I was like, a little confused. And they're like, yeah, you were dancing with that girl, And so she happened to be black. She was like, oh, you're dancing with the black girl. And I was like, all right, well, if I'm in Vegas and I'm drunk and I'm dancing with the girl, she's going to be black. So hey, I know what I like, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, so, I'm like, wait, so what happened was and then she was like, no, yeah, you were just dancing with her, bro. And like, it looked like you couldn't even keep up. Like, you were like holding on to the railing. You're like,
wait, so there was footage of this.
You know what? I want to say there might be, but I don't think anybody might. I think maybe like one or two people might have it saved in their camera roll, but if it comes up,
the archives, right?
If it comes up, we could share it. It's nothing too crazy. Yeah, it's nothing too crazy. It's just mostly what it was is just my friends just like
you're having fun.
Yeah, capping basically like Abe. So right, it was the next day, and then we're talking about it. My friend's like, yeah, the girl, this and that, and I was like, okay, yeah. He's like, bro, check the group chat. So I go to the group chat, and then there's all these like, oh, what about Abe and that? And so like they even changed my name on the group chat to Abe the Freak.
Oh, so they kind of named you.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it was from right there that I mean, even in that group chat, it wasn't like anything that had to do with music, or it was just us with the boys, right? Yeah. And when I started actually making music and started to record, and my producer was the one that started telling me, hey, you know what, you really got to start thinking about a name because you have a lot of tracks, and if you start releasing early, you can just start to get established, and then
get that momentum.
Yeah, you can start building it. And I was still lost because when I first started recording, I still wasn't fully sure how far I wanted to take the music. I wanted to do it for fun at first. I've always liked writing poems and like short stories. So it was just like English was my favorite subject.
Oh, wow.
Not that I got the best grades at it, but it was my favorite. And so I started thinking, and I have nicknames from like high school and like but
of course,
I don't know why I decided to stick with that one. I think it was mostly because when I started writing first, I was like doing like a lot of boom bap and like a lot of like just heavy rap.
Oh, okay.
And so a lot of my rap was just kind of like, well, I would get compared a lot of times, like people would tell me like, oh, it reminds me of like old school Eminem,
Oh, cool.
So I kind of thought I was already kind of like somewhere on like that side of the spectrum. So when I was thinking of the name, and I told my cousin like, hey, what if I just put it out as Abe the Freak?
Yeah.
And like,
fuck it, right?
Yeah. So he looks at the track because like he like paused the song and like, hey, it actually really goes with you, like. Another reason why I also took it is because I was starting to get into the that Stranger Things show.
Yes.
And it was on that season where the new guy came out, and it was like this like rocker dude, and he was like, so he was like the freak of the show, and they're like, he's a weirdo, he's kind of
freak.
Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? Let's go for it. Yeah, that guy's using it. It's working for him. So let's try it out. So, but that's basically how it came along. So far, like I said, like the music and everything, like every time, like people are like, oh, Abe the Freak. All right, it goes.
When I saw it, it stood out to me because I'm like, you know what? That makes a statement. Like to have, be like, I'm a freak. It's basically what you're saying with your name. And I was like, oh, this makes me interested in like what the lyrics are, like what you're rapping about, what you're, so that already I feel like is an attention grab. So that's great marketing as well.
Yes. It definitely does help because actually that is almost like the go-to questions like, hey, so why?
I was like that because usually like my first question's like, where are you from and like what started the passion? But I was like, no, like I'm dying to know where the name.
Let's go straight in
there. Let's just dive in. But I do want to go, take it back a little bit because I want to know how it all started. You said you love English class and like, so I'm sure you're good with like writing, songwriting as well. But I'm curious like where the passion started.
Well, it started actually basically with my producer. My producer's my cousin. So shouts out Don Jesse.
Shout out family. Love that.
He's always been into music since we were like kids. And around like middle school, I started learning how to play guitar. Oh, cool. And I remember showing him like the first song. And from there, he just took off. Like he did, by the time he was in high school, he was already, or done with high school, he already played in a band, marching band, and in his own band, like started a few different bands. And so he kept going with it. Like he did so much. He learned how to produce, he learned how to engineer, he learned like
self-taught?
Everything. Self-taught. Yeah. And when I started seeing this later on in life, obviously, I had my job, I had my business, and
cool.
I always get stuck here because it's like you hit this like wall, I feel, and I don't know what it was, but something felt like
were you maybe not happy with your like day job, or like your like did you want something more? Like
I just felt like there was a part of me that just was not being me, like
I like that.
Like there was just something that I was missing,
something was missing,
or maybe just something I wasn't doing, So for myself, because obviously everybody needs to work. Everybody, I mean, there's always an outside force to like why you're working or why you're doing what you're doing to make money, whatever it is. There's that, because you need it, you want,
especially here in LA.
Exactly, yeah. You want to live somewhere nice. You want to,
Right. I mean, even just to live here, like you have to do something. You can't like not work, right? It's really hard to survive. So
you sometimes have to work like 2 jobs, right? So
yeah.
And so, I mean, obviously I was a driven person because jobs, working and all that has never been an issue for me. But there was something that was like, dude, like, and it was like starting to like poke at me, and I noticed it because there was times where sometimes I would just like, I don't know, I'd be bothered throughout the day. Eventually, it just got to the point where I started seeing what he was doing, and I just always kind of noticed, like, man, this guy's just like really happy, just like
passionate
making
about
his
what he's
music.
Doing. Yeah, happy.
Yeah. And seeing, and then remembering, like, I remember I taught him his first song, and look at him, so. Right away, I started thinking, like, maybe that's what it was. Like, maybe because he has his job and he does that. And then he also does his music. So I was like, okay, so maybe I'm just not doing something that's, like for myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we did it for fun. Like when we first started, he called me over. He was like, hey, look, I know you write this and that. I'm learning how to make beats. Actually, if I could be 100% correct about it, I was actually getting a haircut.
Okay. There we go.
His brother cuts hair.
Okay.
And so he was waiting to go next. So he was like, hey, I'm going to make you a beat. And I was like, me? All right, I don't really. And I was like, all right, cool. You know what?
Right.
It's fun, like, let me help him out. He's learning.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, use a sample, use this. I gave him like this movie clip. And then like, he was like, all right, do you like this sound? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, all right, cool. So he went about it and he started just right there on the iPad, I'm getting a haircut. By the time I was done.
On the iPad getting a haircut. That's awesome.
Honestly, exactly. So even just seeing that, like, I was like, bro, you're literally making a beat right now on an iPad. And then in that time, he actually finished it. He sent me the beat, and I was like, "Wait, what am I supposed to do? Is this? I don't write music. I don't, So he's like, yeah, just write to it, and then we'll record it for fun, like.
Yeah.
And I did. I wrote something short. We got to record it like a few weeks later, and when I finally got on to record and I heard myself on the speakers.
Oh yeah, what was that like?
I hated it.
Oh really?
Oh my god, I hated it. I was like, what's going on here?
Did you feel like maybe like did you really put your oomph into it? Like did you try?
Of course, and that's actually what it was. So like, I heard it and I was like, no. But
that's pretty self-aware to like also real like sometimes. Especially when you're starting out, you don't want to believe like something's not that good that you're doing. So it's like it's pretty self-aware that you're like, you know what, maybe I could do that better. Or
like let me try again. Yeah. And that's actually what it was. Is that I was like, no way, hold on. But as much as I didn't like how it sounded, I liked doing it. So like. I was like, can I try again? And he was like, yeah, dude. Yeah, so like, okay. And then we did the first song. We did like a week later, I went back and we did another song. And then every week we were recording something new now.
Oh, damn. Okay. So you really just hopped into it.
Yeah. And it started right away because I saw like what he was doing. I was like, I mean, okay, he built a whole beat in like 30 minutes, 40 that I got a haircut, right? So like,
that's right? Impressive, yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, this guy's just moving, let me try to keep up with him. So I was like, let me see. And again, all this to this point is still just for fun. I'm like telling myself I'm doing it for him, to help him. But
you're like, I like this shit.
In reality, yeah, like I fucking loved it. It really caught me, like, and from there, like, all these other things started happening. Like, I wanted to learn to produce. I wanted to learn how to record. I wanted to learn how to edit. I wanted to learn. And so, like, I do all these things and I'm learning how to do all these things because of him. And, I mean, ever since then, like, I'm not going to sit here and BS and be like, oh yeah, I'm getting all this money from my music and all this attention, you know, obviously.
Right?
Exactly. But even though like nothing is like what you would want it to be right away, it's like so fulfilling. I guess let's just use that word because like I can't think of a better word right now. But it feels so good, like just to finish a song.
How did you come up with like your first lyrics for your song? Like did something inspire you, or were you just like it rhymes? Like how did you go about that?
Well, this was during COVID time when we were doing all this. Yeah, so we were locked up, and it actually that was one of the biggest reasons why I had opportunity to like, all right, I have a little extra time,
Yes. COVID actually gave some opportunities because it kind of like forced you to like, you're like, I'm home, so like I have to do.
Let me do something to entertain myself, and a lot of people, which is great because a lot of people found things that they like to do, even from the comfort of their own home, and I mean, what's better than that, right?
I mean, tell me about it.
Yeah.
So okay, you're stuck at home. You're
stuck at home, and the first line that I remember writing for the beat that he made me was I think it was stuck in quarantine, and then like warp like Coraline, like, and then from there I just kind of try to build and that was literally the first line, like stuck in quarantine, and then boom, I just went off from there. And it was like my first song was just literally about like being stuck in quarantine, so.
Which everyone could relate to, so that's also good because people want music that they can relate to, so I would say that's a point for you. It kind of helped me to like really like kind of start putting structure on my other songs, because I was like, when I got to my second song, I was like, wait, what did I write about last time? And I was like, okay, it was quarantine. Why? And I was like, oh, because we're doing it now, and people, if they hear it, they'll probably be like, hey, he's right, like I remember being in quarantine and I had to be in my room and I couldn't go out or whatever. So yeah, just after that one song, like I mean, obviously, I didn't do everything by myself. I've always listened to music myself. So, like, different genres, not just rap. So, like, I've always had ideas of, like, stories or just poems and, like... And then, again, English is always my favorite. So, I always like to, like, create. It's getting a little more difficult, to try to get out, obviously, because I want to reach new lengths and I want to I was going to ask about that. Like, how do you, as an artist, like, reach those dreams and like, those passions that you want? Because I'm sure it's like, okay, now I'm making songs, but now I want to like go to the next level, right? Like I want to be on this platform, or I want to like get signed, or I want to shoot music videos. Like, what's the goal for you? Like, where do you see yourself?
Well, right now, what I'm really trying to focus on is like really, really get my name out. You know, I have some music out now. I have a few tracks, a few EPs. Yeah, we can. And by the way, you can find them on abethefreak.com, or you can just go on any music platform, look up Abe the Freak, and I might be the only one there. So that's another plus. It's another plus to the name is that haven't seen it show up yet. So
exactly, it's a unique name. It's great.
What I want to do from like maybe starting now to like next year maybe is, you know, interview, go on podcasts, radio shows. I did a few. I got a chance to do a few this month, and I want to try to keep the momentum going and just spread the name. You know, like because when people do hear my music and they, okay, that's cool. Like I like the song, and then they have somewhere to go back and be like, where did he come from? You know, like where'd the name come from, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
So I do want to know like where you're from. You told me earlier before we started recording like what area you came from, like where you live now. But you know, is that somewhere you always lived? Are you from here? Like, you know, what's your story?
Yes, I live in Baldwin Park. I've lived there for most of my life. Like when we first came to this country, my parents are from Mexico.
Mexico. Where in Mexico?
Guadalajara, Jalisco.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
that's
shouts
where
out.
Wait, my grandma's from there. That's
no
amazing.
way.
Yeah, what small world. So I'm assuming you speak fluent Spanish.
Yes,
sí, like,
claro que sí, claro que sí. Yeah, no, I do.
Like
well, fluent Spanish, fluent maybe Spanglish.
Right. For me, it's like I understand everything, but speaking, I get a little shy because I don't know why. Like when I have tequila, I'm like, all right, fuck it. Like I'm speaking.
All the Spanish comes out.
But like, yeah, when I'm sober, I'm like, am I pronouncing it right? Like, I don't know why. I get
think about it twice. Yeah.
Exactly. So what was that like?
Well, when we first came here, I was small, so I don't remember. We were kids. Our parents brought us when we were. Yeah. I was, I think, like 3 or 4. Okay. And my sister was like 2, maybe. Okay. So I was raised here, so that's why my English it's fluent. I understand it and I can speak it, but like I'm a Spanglish kid, you know. Hell yeah. Ocho for sure. Like I'll. Sometimes like the parents are always like, hey, can you translate this? Right. I'm like Spanglish it back to him, and he's just like, bro, I said translate it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but
do you like rap in Spanish too? Like,
I do. Actually,
that is exciting.
I actually like to sing too.
Okay. Sorry. So you're not just a rapper. You're a singer as well.
Singer songwriter. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I do like it. One of the things that I started to do actually, to incorporate into my sets to kind of, going back to where I'm from, from Mexico, I've always loved Mexico. I never, when I was a child, I never got the chance to go like every year, obviously, but until I was able to, and now when I can, I visit, and I love it. Yeah. And not only that, but I love my family out there. We have so much family out there, and the culture,
fun there too, the culture,
everything about
the food, like the food. Yes,
yes. And so everything about just Mexico it's always been beautiful to me. So I've always, when I started making music, at least I wanted to find a way to incorporate like my culture, my heritage, where I came from, Yeah. I mean, I'm from BP. I grew up there. I know every street. I know all the people. Yeah, Bolin, shout out Bolin, But I'm also a Mexicano,
Of course, you gotta represent.
Exactly. And so what I started to do in my sets is I started to like, I would do my quick 2-3 songs, and then I would do a corrido. Like I'll just throw a corrido in there. Like I'll just sing it like karaoke. Yeah. And not mine. I haven't written my own yet, but we're thinking about it. We're thinking about it.
You're gonna do it, yes.
And so I started to do this kind of like to just grab people's attention. Like sometimes you're in the middle of your set, and a lot of times when there's so many artists going on, or maybe your sets are kind of long, people tend to tune out. Okay. So. Not on purpose, but it's just,
It's just, the attention span nowadays is so short, too, because of social media.
Especially you're at a bar, you're having a drink or whatever.
Yes.
And so, like, it was kind of my way to be like, hey, come back. Yeah.
Like so,
like, cause, and then
hey, come back.
It really kind of works because, like, a lot of times people are like, I just see them get up, like, what the? And then I start singing, and then they're like, "What the?"
They're like, "Oh, didn't expect this." Yeah, that's awesome.
And so I haven't got told to get the fuck off the stage yet, so I'm gonna keep rolling with it,
So how do you, get these gigs where you can perform in front of people? Like, do you submit yourself, or is it like word of mouth? Like, how does that work?
At first, I really started doing the steps myself. Like I was doing the whole footwork because I started out performing out in the IE because my cousin is from out there.
Okay.
He lives in Fontana.
Okay.
And then my other partner that we do music with, his name is Rules. He goes by MC Rules. Shout out MC Rules.
Cool.
He's in Colton. So they're over there. I'm over here in the SGV. And we ended up getting a studio in Ontario to meet halfway.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And so when we first started performing, we were going out there. But for me, it's kind of far.
Right.
First, we were just doing it out of each other's houses. And then we ended up like getting together to get the studio. We got a studio. It's basically our studio. We're renting it out now. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's a little better because it's us three rather than one person renting it out. So, we were out there. We started performing, and like for me to go all the way to like, because we were starting to get like I think performances like maybe Rancho area,
anywhere.
And so I was like, you know what? I kind of want to try LA. I want to try LA area because it's a little closer, especially if I go to only like Boyle Heights. Right. You know, it's way closer. You know.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and so another thing too, also for me, is that when I started writing, I felt like my music was a little bit more towards the LA scene. Okay. A lot of the performances that we were seeing over here were a little bit more like drill. It was a little bit more, I guess, just a little bit out of my element, you know. Yeah, and so it was cool because I got to do it, and I got to be the hey man, it was so different than everything else, you know. Right.
And that's always fun to experience new things.
Yeah. Like I always kind of stood out on that side because it was like, we were kind of like flowing to a different way, and then it was like, boom, you know, Abe the Freak comes in, you know. Right. So I liked it. Obviously, I'm not gonna say like I didn't like performing out there. I didn't, you know, none of the team, everybody over there were always super cool. But I wanted to try, you know, LA. And so the second that I started doing LA, I really had to just put the footwork because in the IE, at least I was with my cousin and my other group member. So we were able to kind of help each other out. But over here, it was like I was just going by myself.
Right. That can be scary too, right? The pressure.
Sometimes it's a little like...
It's nice to have like a hype man or like family or, you know.
Yeah, just somebody that could be there just like holding the phone, you know.
Right. No, of course.
Yeah. But once I did my first couple shows, I saw like more invites, like more people were calling me now, like, hey, we saw you at this show. Do you want to come over here? Yeah. And so just a few teams, if I could just mention them really quick, please the Stoner Podcast System, especially those guys have been really, really helpful. You know, shouts out to those guys. I got an interview with them too, and then they actually, when I first started, were like I think all the year this year I did like 6 shows with them. So cool. So yeah, they gave me a lot of playtime. So thank y'all, man. Nice. Appreciate it. That's and amazing. Then another team too that I worked with a lot was east of the river. Okay. They one of the members is Viva Mezcal, and then there's just a couple other artists out there. I always hate doing the shout outs because then I'm like, shouts out this, shouts out. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, shouts out, you know, Viva, shouts out East of the River, 86 Inca, King Audio P. All of these guys not only have this side of the team, of the teams that have helped me perform, but these guys are really doing something different that I did not see even in the IE. And I just haven't seen something like this anywhere else really so far. Okay. And what? I'm interested. Yeah, and definitely look them up if you want to look up. Lighter Fluid is what their events are called, and I mean these guys aren't just doing like regular events. Like they had a whole conference. They had a whole conference where we had performances one night, the conference in the morning, and then like another show at night, and then so like all of this, what it is basically teaching artists what to do if you want to take it to the next level. Well, just seeing all that, like how it worked, and like that really kind of helped me to be like, you know what, like these are the teams that like we got to stick with because these guys are not only are they going somewhere, but like they're showing other people how to get there, you know. Which is amazing. And like how you just said it, like a lot of times people are like, hey, you could try it like this, but nobody's gonna sit there with you and be like, this is how you do it, you know. And these guys are literally doing
somebody it. Tell me, like, if that person's out there, please find me.
Hey, hit me up.
I'm like, hello. Yeah. No, I totally get it.
But cool. just with these again, just with all these team members and like, you know, what they do, it's really, really, really kind of pushing me to like stick with it, you know, just seeing what they're doing so far, how I can be there eventually, and then maybe just maybe eventually start my own shows, whatever it is I want to take it to. No, at least I like there's teams there that I can go to and like ask for help.
That already is so key, like being able to ask for help, because I feel like sometimes, especially when you're an individual in the creative industry, it's the ego sometimes comes in the way too, where it's like, I don't want to ask for help, like I want to be able to do it on my own or whatever. But it's nice to ask for help, because like some people, like I do believe in like good karma, so I feel like some people will give you that. The worst that can happen is they say no, right?
Yeah, and then you could just ask somebody else.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. You got it.
I kind of learned that being with the team or asking is always just easier, because I mean, yeah, you could definitely do things yourself, and like, you know, there's a lot of people that do, you know, there's a lot of people that do, and so shouts out to those people. You know, I mean, that takes a lot of work. More than anything, it takes a lot of rejection and a lot of like failure and a lot of like, damn, I should not have done that, you know?
Let's talk about rejection a little bit. How do you handle rejection?
With a smile now, you know?
You're like, what do you mean? I don't know.
With a smile
like,
now.
I'm fine.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm upset. I'm not gonna be upset, but I'm upset, right?
Right. I mean, like you said, it comes with the industry, right? Like, if everybody was gonna like first try, they were gonna be like, you're gonna get signed right now, or like you're the next big art, like then everybody would try to do it, right? Because then it'd be easy. So how do you handle that, and how do you not let it affect, you know, your music or like that creative space of like, oh, should I like, I don't want to write anymore because I'm discouraged, like, you know, how do you like put that aside?
Well, at first, because like, you know how when I first heard myself and I was like, I don't like it, like I'm already like, that's already me rejecting myself, like I'm already telling myself I don't like it, you know. But there's just always that little thought behind my head that's like, it's just better if you do it, you know. It's you're happier, you feel better, so just do it, you know. And there has been some shows that I've like just bombed and like, oh my gosh, shouldn't have done that. Actually, even the first time I did the corrido, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's probably weird, you know, like.
What was weird? Like, what were you like?
I felt weird. I felt weird. I just felt like, And then I don't know. It's just it's different. It's weird because so many people come, or not so many people, but somebody will come to you and be like, dude, that was crazy. This and that. And maybe if it didn't happen that night, but maybe they called me the next, or maybe they're on IG or something like, hey, I saw this on your post. That's cool. And like, let's say if I just stay with that feeling of like, that was weird, I shouldn't have done that, or like, maybe I saw somebody looking at me kind of funny because they don't understand Spanish, maybe like it could be anything really that you just feel like uncomfortable with, but at the same time it's like, well, I mean, who's really feeling comfortable, like other people or me, you know? And if they don't like it, I mean, I get, it's fine. At the end of the day, I think it's really helped me figure out what I'm comfortable with and like the level of like me that I'm ready to be. Because a lot of times too is that people are scared to just, not scared maybe, or just maybe they're not comfortable to just like be themselves, you know. A lot of times we try to do things like somebody that's already done it, or maybe we try to focus our sound so much to be something that's already working.
Right.
And I think that for me, it's helped me stay away from that. Like I've always gotten that like, it sounds different. Like it just sounds a little like,
you know how like when, for example, like Designer, when he came out with like Panda, he sounded a lot like Future, and everybody was just like, it sounds like Future, and like you're just getting typecasted, stereotyped, right? So I think it's almost better to like be that different sound. You're like, oh, I haven't heard that before. I don't like, do I like it? I don't know, but like it's different, right? It already is catching more attention than like, oh, this guy sounds just like, I don't know, Bad Bunny or something.
Yeah, and that's how like, I think that's why for me it's kind of, I like it because it's helped me do that, like to stay away from that. And I think it came from like me just learning to be okay with like, you know what, if people are not gonna like this, it's fine, you know, it's totally cool, you know, no hate or nothing, but it's like it's the same thing, like, hey, there's music I don't like, you know,
right?
I mean, and you know, it's not fuck Abe, right? It's like it's just like, hey, we all have different preferences, and so I think
just how everyone has different like preference in genre, music genre as well. Like some people are hardcore country fans. Some people love rap. Some people are like, I just like techno with no words.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which, and that's one that I don't fully understand. Like, you know, I actually heard a techno song where I was like, you know, if I was in the right mood, this wouldn't be bad. So it's like, it just depends on the mood too. You know?
Definitely. And I think a lot of people get into techno. I was actually into like EDM and techno. I still am.
Well, I like trap because it's like a mix of like
sometimes there's like vocals, you know,
right, and then you get like a hard drop, and I'm like, this is fun, like this is cool. But the techno stuff was a little bit more. I was like, okay, it's a little different, but you know, I'm still not like, oh, I hate techno. I'm just like, I don't listen to it on the regular.
Yeah.
Do you have like a different persona on stage? Because you know, like sometimes people are like, yeah, like when you know when like when Abe the Freak hits the stage, like it's like this vibe, or is it like just you know?
Well, I like to think it's kind of like a little bit of both, because like how it was when you first asked me like where the name came from or whatever, and I was just kind of or you know how I started. I'm sorry, how I started, and I was like, I wasn't feeling like I was myself or something.
Yes.
And I think like this did make me feel like I can bring that person that I haven't you know maybe
that's
been around
there,
but I'm just like, I don't want to or maybe I can, because you know it's, you know, for whatever reason, I don't know, I who knows why we ever feel like we can't be ourselves, but I did it for a long time. And so when I first started hitting the stage, I think I was a lot of my old self, you know. I was very like,
which is more like describe yourself, like what are maybe just some 3 words that describe you not on stage, like just you know, Abe being Abe, and then like Abe the Freak.
Very direct, maybe very straight, and very just simple, just you know, and just watching my performances and thinking like, when I wrote this, there's a lot of energy to it, right?
Right.
And so I'm like, so why didn't I be like, you know, like, or why didn't I?
Yeah, maybe some.
Yeah, like, why didn't I? Kick, you know, just throw, whatever, you know.
Right.
And so I'm like, I'm just not like, I'm not doing it naturally, you know. I was just very like focused, and just like everything was just like very blueprint, you know. And that's when I started really like, well, it's because I'm not really doing it like how I wanted to, or how it should be, you know, like how I wrote it.
Right.
I'm doing it how I would do it, but I'm not doing it how the guy that wrote it, you know. There's like a little, you know, that's why I'm like, it's kind of like my old me, but like it's a new me, and that's now when I perform, I feel like now people are really starting to see like, oh, because I am a little bit more now, I can move around from here to there, and I can, you know,
more loose.
Talk to the crowd now, you know.
Okay,
and so
engaging in the crowd, I think that's important too. That shows confidence.
Yeah, and it helps to get them in tune with you, you know, like, so
feels like you're talking to them, so they're like, all right, okay.
And then that way they get to know you a little bit better too, you know, too, or maybe they would want to know you because like, hey, you know, he talked to me, or like he said, hey, what's up, whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I do feel like performing and making music and just all of this journey has really helped me find myself. Like,
I love to hear that.
I felt just so off for so long, like, and like I just never knew what it was. You know, I never understood. And you know, you read your books and you go on TikTok and you listen to all these things about like, oh, you know, your soul and your spirit, and you gotta find yourself, and like, what does that mean? You know,
explain. Please explain. What does that mean?
And so, you know, eventually, I mean, I think it just started with that, like, just just like finally doing something for myself, for nobody else's sake, for not because it paid me, not because
it just makes you happy and it's fun.
It was just fun, like, and it
channels this, like thing you've always had it in you. It's just you needed something to drag it out.
And so here we are, you know,
exactly.
And I mean, it's even helped me with just like other things, like just I mean even just like a conversation like this, like who knows, maybe conversation if I didn't already. If I wasn't already used to being myself and talking, like, this might have been a little bit more of a boring conversation. You know what I mean?
A little awkward.
A little bit more awkward. A little bit more, you know what I mean? But
no, you're doing great.
Yeah, thank you.
So now that you write your own music and everything, what are like some challenges maybe when writing your own music? Like, are you taking experiences that are happening to you, or is it more like, where are you getting that inspiration from?
A lot of my earlier writing, it does come from experience, just from things that like I've lived, that I know, like it was just there. So it's just I think that just needed to come out. And it's like, again, I just so long not knowing what it is, so like when you find it, it's just like it oozes out, it just shoots out of you. And so now I do find myself, it's a little harder to find something that I can relate to with other people. So I start to reading has always helped, because like you think, like I said, writing short stories, poems has always been something cool, like that I liked, so like a lot of times in my music now, what I'm doing is like I'll just create a story where I'm like, oh, I went to this place. Some of it is like half made up, some of it is like half true, and like and it's just like a story that I either made up or whatever, but like right now what I am trying to do is just think outside the box now, like maybe write out of not my perspective, but like what would the listener think, or or not think, but like what would the listener say, or what would like in a relationship, like if you're writing a love song, like what about writing it from her point of view, like so like I'm trying to so I'm trying to just experiment and like really like get the ideas out of my head, because I mean I know I got a lot of things in there, but sometimes you really got to sit there and pick at it and try to create it. So at the beginning of this year, I had to stop writing completely, because I spent the last 3 years, like in 2019 is when I started really
pursuing it.
And I still wasn't performing. I was just recording and writing. So by the time I started performing and I started trying to do both, it was too much. It was hard to learn things, new music, and then it was hard to perform, because I was like, just it has helped to like plan things out and be like, all right,
I'm a planner. That's why I'm like, we need a plan. We need a
that actually has also helped me too, because I was always just as far as like if we're gonna like say we're planning a trip, like I was like, all right, we it needs to be like super direct. And then when I started doing the music, a lot of it was just like really like impulsive and like just coming out of nowhere. And so I feel like that was just another trait that just kind of got out of me. I was like just more like open to things and more to like, just do things, all in general. So I completely stopped writing, because I was like, you know what, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I just didn't want to like, I didn't kind of want it to get to me. So I was like, I stopped writing, and I had a writer's block, I want to say for like 4 or 5 months. I didn't write anything. I was just completely just, I mean, I was sending out songs maybe to other artists,
but and like not writing music
myself. I was just like to do feature work,
of course.
But myself, I just wasn't writing. And recently, I started to get back into it. Me and Don Jesse and MC Rules were getting back together to do music together. Besides doing our own solo thing, we also go we have a group thing. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Yeah, we go by Despite the Odds.
I was gonna say, what's your guys' group name?
DTL. I was gonna bring you some stickers of that too, but I didn't have it anymore.
We can definitely talk about this too, since it seems fitting. You brought me a shirt here for everyone to see. I might as well open it now so we can talk about it too.
And we got merch online. And then this specific design, you do have to order from me directly, but we have a few other designs already online. Ooh. We have beanies, we got hats.
I love it. Cancel Abe the Freak. That's creative. That's cool. I'll definitely be repping this. That's awesome. Anyone who brings me a shirt, I will wear it. Like, are you kidding me? That's awesome. So tell me, how did you come up with the logo? How did you come up with this phrase of cancel Abe? Why cancel you? Because everyone's always so worried about cancel culture, right? And you're just saying fucking cancel me.
Cancel me, man. You better do it now before it's too late, right?
So I'm like, Another great marketing strategy, but also like, where did the idea come
from?
From?
Shouts out. This one I do got to shout out.
Put that there so everyone can see it.
Awesome. Thank you. Shout out to for the marketing, Reggie Levy. He's an artist from the IE.
Okay.
He's with his crew. He's one with the Ismail, Reno, Wakaz.
Yeah.
You guys, know you guys. I love you guys. You guys know who you are. But they're under the same label, Bad Genre. So if you guys look them up, you might be able to find them. But yeah, Reggie Levy, he's one of the guys that first started seeing us coming into the studio, and he's got a little bit longer time with this, so he's got a little bit more of a
experience.
Yeah, and he has always helped not only me but each of us individually. Like, hey, look, I noticed that you're doing this. Like, you should do something like this.
That's nice.
And you know how we were talking earlier, how it's like, it's hard to ask for help sometimes,
right?
And now that I'm thinking about it now, I feel like he's the reason why I think, or maybe even Rules and Jesse too.
Yeah.
Why we find it pretty easy to ask for help, because, I mean, at least for myself, like I always, when he would come in and have these like advice or like, hey, look, you should do this, like. I always kind of looked at it like, dude, that's really cool.
That's fucking
like,
smart. Yeah.
Like, you're showing, like, not only that you're telling, but you're showing us like what we can do to be different or like stand out.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so he had this own phrase for his own marketing, and like so he was like, yeah, like, you guys got to do something that's just kind of like off, like. So during the time when I was coming up with design, I had actually joined a competition. It was a performance competition.
Ooh,
and
love a good competition.
Yeah, friendly competition, right?
Yes.
And I happened to be one of the winners. It was 3 winners, or 4 of us, I believe.
Congrats! It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. It was earlier this year in May.
Nice.
And that performance got me to open up for Afro. I don't know if you guys know who Afro is, but Afro, he's getting some attention.
Cool.
He's an awesome lyricist.
Nice.
He's dope. And I got to meet him.
Very cool.
I got to open up for him because of that. And so for that performance, I wanted to bring merch because I was like, dude, I can't believe I won. Like, I was like excited. So
that's so exciting. Are you kidding me?
And it was just rushed. Like, I didn't know what to do with my logo, and like literally the guy from the shirts was like, well, do you just want your logo or like? And I was like, let me come up with something. So I was in my room just for like 30 minutes, just trying to figure out design. But, I myself am not the most like artistic, I guess. I've always liked to draw, but like just creating something new, artistic, that's not really my forte,
For me, it's the opposite. Like, I love creating. I have the ideas, but I can't draw for shit. So it will never look the way that when I draw it never looks the way that I envision. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be so cool, and then I try to
we should
give an example.
We should do a project or something. Like, you tell me, and I'll draw it, and then it should work, right?
That sounds great. Yes.
Yeah, but ultimately, I just came up with it because I was like, you know what? I have an idea.
Yeah.
Can you just put like an X on it and put like a cancel stamp?
Love it.
And so he was like, sure. And he did it, and he sent it to me, and I was like, yep, just like that.
Perfect.
And it's funny because everybody looks at it, they're like, cancel Abe the Freak, huh? Why?
It stands exactly. You ask why. Like, did you do something?
What'd you do?
Or are you gonna be saying crazy shit like in your raps?
What are you talking about, huh? Like, what do you really?
I think it goes hand in hand with your name too, your stage name. So I think that's great marketing, and like I said, I'm like caught my attention too.
This design was created by my brother.
Oh, cool.
He's actually from the family, I think, the more artistic when it comes to like creating designs and stuff like that.
Very cool.
He's actually working on a clothing line, so like look forward to that.
Yeah.
Actually, he designed 2 of my shirts online, so if you guys look it up, it's the Knot of Earth t-shirts. Those are the ones he designed, and
very cool.
So he designed this like a long time ago. He was like a kid, I believe, when he was designing like small little cartoon things.
I just noticed it on your hat too, right? Your logo.
It's on here too. Yeah.
Love it.
And so when I started making my music and I started releasing, and they were like, yo, do you have a logo? Do you want a picture?
Right.
Like a lot of times I didn't have a good picture of myself. So like
that's important too.
I was like,
you don't think about that kind of stuff, right?
But for
self-promotion, it's like people want a photo of you, a current photo, and not a filtered photo as well. Like, let's be real, they want to see what you look like. And then your merch, your like whatever else, like the album cover or whatever, you know, like people want that
visuals. Like, they want to see. But
it's like no one like. I feel like, I don't know, maybe you don't like necessarily expect that. I know I didn't expect that. Like when I first started the podcast, I was like, oh shit, I need like a logo. Oh shit, I need a poster. Oh shit, like what's my slogan gonna be? Oh, like, you know, it was like all these things that you don't like think at first, but it comes with it. But at first I was just like, I'm just gonna start a podcast. I have the microphone, I have the set.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, but then you're like, wait, there's so much to
once people start telling you like, oh, so what's your this or what's your that, and then you're like, oh.
Because it's not just like, yes, of course, we love the creative side, but you also have to know the business side of what you're doing, because at the end of the day, like,
it's a business. It is a business. Yeah.
And like, as much as we want to just be like fun and creative, like, well, you know, it is still a business. So yeah. Definitely. It's always good to know that side.
It is. You
don't want to get fucked over too by other people that might take advantage of that. I'm not saying that that's happening to you at all, but like, it's happened in the industry before, you know, so.
Yeah, it's always definitely good to know. Definitely. That's why it's good to ask too, because like, you know, you don't. It's nothing. It's nothing of like, you should feel like I don't know. I mean, when we really don't. You know what I mean? Right. So like, it's always so helpful because you know, like, I mean, maybe I would have had a logo if I would have asked before, but I never thought about it. Right.
It's okay. You have one now.
Yeah. Awesome. So basically, when I saw this design, I was going through this phase where I was like, I'm happy, I'm sad, I don't know what I'm, you know.
Oh, it's like a smile. Oh, it's a
smiley face. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. It was X. I should have looked at this one. I totally see it on the stickers. Yeah. I was like, oh, like, is it like your two?
Yeah, it's actually crossed out. So this is the actual logo right here.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah. Sorry, guys. And it was like this happy and face and like a sad face at the same time, but it kind of.
I like that.
It kind of. I don't know. It just felt like it was me. Like
we all feel that. Like it'd be fake to say like I'm always happy.
Exactly.
Or like, and if you are always sad, like I'm sorry, it's hard too. But like we do have different moods, so it's like it's kind of nice. It's like
yeah, and it's simple. It's just
relatable too.
Yeah, and I think that's why I asked him. I was like, hey. Do you know that little cartoon that you have in the computer? He had like saved it on my computer or something. Yeah. And I was like, he was like, yeah, what about it? And I was like, can I use that? Can I use that for my, I just need a logo. I don't have a logo. I never thought about.
Yeah.
So I think he was even like, I guess. He's like, but yeah, I used it and it's, I don't know. I like it because even now, I feel like how you said, like at that time, I felt that, you know?
Right.
And even now, it's like, I'm not going to say that now because I'm making music. I'm never sad. That would be
that would almost be like, like, that's not like being a real human. Like,
yeah.
I'd be like, are you a robot? Like,
you got to have feelings, bro. You got to have feelings, of course.
Exactly. And like I said, like music is relatable. So it's like, if you were just always happy, you would be like,
something's not adding up. The math ain't mathing, right?
Either you're lying or you're not real.
Yeah. And actually, it's helped me really kind of pinpoint to where it is that I want to get with my music, you know, because a lot of my music has been heavy rap and very, very just like crazy writing, you know, here and there. A lot of curse words here and there to make it fun, interesting, or just funny. But when I was like really looking at this and I was like, well, you know, I really want to get to a point where I can you know, share a message through a song and not just
not just like, swearing.
Yeah. Not just make a fun song, but I would like to be able to tell a story or something to the listener that they can get.
Yeah.
And for it to really help them, you know? Because when I think about it, and like there's all these songs about like, you know, doing something for yourself, and like you listen to them, especially in rap, you know, there's a lot of like, you know, break out of the matrix type thing, you know, and like, so I you know, I thought about that and I'm like, I want to tell this story like I want to tell the story of like when you're happy, when you're sad, you're human. And that's basically what it is.
I think that's the best way to be. And I think that will get you the most listeners too, because people can relate to that and people want to hear that. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And so, right now I am working on an album that I still don't have a release date for this album.
Okay.
This one is this is a little bit more of a long-term project. I really want to get, like some artists to be able to help me just to be able to get like other people's perspective on the songs where it's not just me or my team.
Right.
Maybe get like an R&B artist. Yeah. Maybe get somebody who sings country to help me do that. Who knows? Like
like a mix and mash is always so fun. Like especially when you don't expect it, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, or corrido. I mean,
another Latin artist.
Something.
Too.
Like,
collab.
So that's a long-term project that I'm working on, and I'm it's fun
to see that.
Yeah, and I feel like it really goes again with the logo. It's that's really where I got it, and that is the title. I do have the title for it.
What's the title?
I am happy. I am sad. Okay. I am human. That's
such a good description of like everything that we were talking about. That's perfect. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah. So that's the long-term project. I do also got a project coming out in a month. It's 2 weeks now. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh shit. Okay. It's perfect timing. Okay.
So November 3rd, I got an EP coming out. It's a shorter project. Yeah. We got 6 tracks.
Cool.
6 tracks, and then I have 6 features on it. It's basically just my team, my immediate team, the team that I've been growing with and like starting with. And
amazing.
So you'll see DTL there. You'll see MC Rules.
Familiar names,
Yeah, Don Jesse. A couple new people that I still haven't been able to get out into the world, but we're working with some of these guys are a little younger.
Cool.
So, but they have potential. Like their writing skills and their producing is like, dude, you're only 19, bro. It's like, or 21. I think they're 21 now. They're a little older now.
No, I mean, start them young, right?
yeah. And so like, I can hope that like I can build something now that I can help them whenever they're ready. Shouts out, to you guys. Dreamer, Grim, Tail the River, Kid. You guys. I mean, we'll get out there eventually, but whenever you guys are ready, we're here, right? And so these are the teams that you'll see in this EP. This EP is still a little bit more of my old, Abe the Freak. There's some good rap in it, and then there's also the introduction to this, this new, So it's like. It's a mix of things. That's why I decided to throw a show for it, and so
the show?
It's actually gonna be the next day after the release.
That makes sense.
So November 3rd is the release. So then we got November 4th. Yeah, November 4th.
So how do you plan a release and everything? Like, what goes into that?
You know what? This is actually my first release where I really I was like, all right, let's throw all the chips on the table.
Right.
I've been performing for the last 3 years, and then this year I really. I set a no less than 2 shows a month. Mm-hmm. So I was like, if I'm not doing the 2 shows, then there's something wrong. I'm not doing.
That's good. You're setting like standards and like goals for yourself too, because it's easy to just be like, oh, like didn't work, and then like
I didn't get a show this time. Yeah. Maybe I'll wait for next month.
Stuck feeling sorry for yourself, but that's like a bad cycle to be in, right? So that's good that you're like, okay, 2 shows a month.
Yeah,
maybe even more.
Mm-hmm. And it started off with 2 shows, and then like by the end of the year, like again, like people were now inviting me over, and they're like, "Hey, can you come over here?" And so it's like some months I did 4, like some months, some days I did 2 the same day. So it was like, I think the most I ever did was I did 3 in the same day. So it was like,
damn, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, it really, again, it's really helped me see what other people are doing, and like it kind of made me feel like, man, I'm really slacking in my releasing, because I see all these like artists like promoting in their shows, and then they got like flyers. They got like posters. I've seen some people put like a whole poster up and be like, I got a show, and here's my performance.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I
gotta step it up.
Gotta do something different. So for this specific release, what had happened is that I already had a big show that I was supposed to open up for, like an artist and locksmith. He's a pretty big name, and so in LA, and so I was excited for it, And whatever happened is the show got canceled, and it wasn't able to happen. So things happen, so always. I'm not like, like things are always gonna happen. You just gotta move with it. You know, it's not the end of the world. It's not.
Again,
yeah. And I still work with the promoters or anything like that. Like it wasn't anything weird or anything shady like that. It was just like the show didn't happen.
Okay.
But I felt like, you know what? I've been telling all these people that I have a big show coming.
Right,
so I was already like, no, dude, I can't just not do something, you know? And I had the release planned. So I was like, you know what? I'll just make my own show. I'll host my own event. I'll perform my EP live for everybody.
There you go.
And we'll make a thing out of it. I'll have some people come through, do open mic. So we're going to have some open mic sessions, some freestyle sessions.
Very cool.
We're going to have pizza and wings, Main Street Pizza from BP.
Nice.
We're going to have my boy out there. We got a photo booth.
That sounds like a lit party. That sounds awesome.
It's gonna be dope. Aside from the fact that it's also gonna be that it's gonna be performances.
Right.
I have I'm cutting the performances off around 9:30.
Okay.
And we're gonna have a DJ just basically playing music for us, so that we can also kind of like hang out,
mingle and vibe. And
yeah.
I like that.
And I wanted to do that for sure, because what I've noticed from a lot of artists, especially some of the artists that are going to be out at my show, I've noticed that we don't get a lot of chance to like
talk and network.
I mean, we talk, but it's just always like, oh, where are you performing? Oh, wait, oh, your release, oh, this and that.
Right.
And not that there's anything wrong with that. At the end of the day, that's what we're there for, right? We're there to talk about music. We're there to record. We're there to work.
Right.
You know, but I don't think there's anything wrong with just a little bit of fun, you know, just a little bit of like, you know, if you guys want to come out and have a drink with me, come out.
Yes.
If you guys just want to chill.
So people can
So we're going to be at Locals Only Cafe, and that's going to be in Los Angeles. I can give you the address. I don't know if you want to put it in the deep, but it's the address. It's 2010 East 7th Street. Perfect. And that's if you want to just look up the name, also on IG, they're all over. It's Locals Only Cafe.
Locals Only Cafe. I love it. I'm like, wait, you're not a local. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're
joking,
cool. Everyone's yeah. No, it is a cool, pretty.
Which is also a good name for the cafe. I like that.
Yeah, and it's actually one of the first places I started performing out in LA.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like full circle.
Yeah, that's why I chose it, because I was like, you know what, I gotta call these guys and see if they're. You know, and the guy already knew me. Obviously, he was like, "Oh yeah, you've been here with Diva, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, a few times." So he's like, "Yeah, cool, man." So
4 years of like how much you've progressed and like how much confidence you've built too. Like, how does that feel?
You know what? It's actually it does feel really good. At the same time, it kind of scares me, because it's like not that I don't
No.
What it means by that is that like it scares me, because like now. Next year I have to top this, you know?
Right. Every year you have to do better, right? Yeah. I feel that same pressure. Like, I'm like, okay, like this season was really good. I had great guests. Like, what am I going to do next season to like stand out? Like, I totally get that.
Yeah. And it's a little scary.
It gets a little scary. You're right.
Yeah. It's a little like, oh, shoot. And like, I want the show to come so bad. I wanted to come, like, I'm waiting. And then in the back of my head, and I'm like, if it comes, then that's it. It's all going to happen. And then now we start preparing for
the next big thing.
And so it's like, it's a little overwhelming, because you know how we said.
Too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Of course. Exciting as hell. And like, I feel like I just like, I'm like, my heart just wants to pop out of my...
Like, I'm like, don't let it pop out. We still need you to perform.
But like, I feel like, but you know, at the same time, it's like, it does feel a little bit overwhelming, because like, it just knowing like, all right, we're going to have to plan, we're going to have to do this. And so it's like a good overwoming. I don't know if I can... I don't know how to explain it, but like, yeah. And
I'm like, what's your face gonna be?
yeah. I know how I'm all like crooked, but
it's like droopy.
Yeah, I am excited, and I can't wait to see who's gonna show up, and I can't wait to see the performances. I used to get really nervous, you know, like there was this line that I started quoting from this Mean Girls. I'm sure you know what movie it is.
I'm like, it's like my favorite fucking movie.
Every girl in the world has seen it, and
of course.
And every man
too.
Well, every guy has seen it, because their girl has seen it, or their sister has seen it. So I for sure have seen the movie. This is my sister's favorite movie. So there's a scene where she's like talking about how like her heart is gonna fall out of her butt or something, and like I always used to feel that, like, I always used to, and then my boy MC Rules, he would be like, there was one thing, because it's like I always had to go to the restroom, you know, and like sometimes I didn't even nervous, go. Like sometimes I just go in there and look at the mirror and like, all right, let's get ready. Water on your face, we're fine. I don't have to go. I just feel weird, you know. And now I get that same weird feeling, but like I don't know if it's the same. Now it feels more like like a good anxious, like, I don't know if you could be good anxious, but
no, anxiously so. Good. I think you can have a combination of feelings for sure, and it's like obviously like you're a little bit anxious at the idea of like I'm about to fucking perform in front of all these people and they're gonna be staring at me, right? And I might not know everyone, so that's a little scary, but it's also exciting because it's like, wow, like people that I don't know are coming out to like support.
They're gonna come hear me, you know?
Yeah. And so there's like, I get it. It's like a scale. You're like, I'm scared,
now I think that I think now what I do is like I feel it all the way up until the point where it's like Abe the Freak, and then it's just everything just disappears. It just everything goes away now. Now it's just more like I do feel sometimes like I am just having a conversation with somebody, like because I mean at the end of this it is, you know, you're playing music for the audience and you're talking to them, you know. So now it's a little bit more, I feel a lot more confident. I feel a lot more comfortable, I guess. Ooh,
but like sometimes I get nervous too. I'm like, because we didn't know each other before this. I'm like, okay, you know, like hopefully we vibe.
And you know, dude, this is actually because the other people that I've done podcasts with, I know them already. So like, so me too. I was kind of like, man, I hope I'm not like nervous in there. Like,
no, you're doing great. How is your family like supporting you with the music industry? Because you know, Mexican parents can be a little strict sometimes, or they're like, you know, we came over here, we want you to have the American dream or whatever that is. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to stereotype, but like I'm Latina too, so I'm like, I know.
No.
So I'm just wondering, like how is that for you?
You know what? Not surprisingly, I think that I want to say that maybe at the same time, maybe my family kind of saw like I was, you know, not 100% happy. Not that they were ever like, hey, are you okay or anything like that. But I don't know. But when I started, it's like when they looked at me, they're like, oh, you're recording music. They were like just kind of confused at first, but they were like, that's really cool. And they were like, can we hear? Can we see? And like, so yeah, I mean, right off the bat, my family has been super supportive. My sister, my brother, my mom, my dad, my uncles, my cousins, they've all been pretty supportive, you know. And I kind of did feel like maybe because like how you said, you know, like a lot of times, what if they're looking at me like, bro, you better not stop working, you know, like
exactly.
So and I mean, they haven't really like worried, I guess, for that, or so I guess they haven't showed. Right? They haven't really showed like that they think it's a problem, you know.
Right.
And I think that also because a lot of what maybe one of the reasons too, because you know, like you said, the parents will bring you over here to have a better opportunity, so that you can live in a better place, be in a better place, 100%. A lot of times for them, it's very unrealistic that you do it off music or that you do it off a podcast, or that you do, you know. So it's just like a weird idea for them, you know. And I think that what's maybe been helping them maybe see it as a supportive side is that my dad, him alone, my mom not really, but my dad is a very entertaining person. He's
okay, so that's probably where you get it from.
Yeah, and so he likes to talk. He likes to joke. He likes to
Would you say he's like the life of the party?
He's like every time, like all of my friends like love him. Like they're like, dude, your dad, he's so funny.
That's fun. He
comes out, he plays beer pong with us,
he's a cool
like
dad.
when we're, you know, and like. And he loves to sing. He sits.
So
he sits.
You're like living out the dream that maybe he wasn't able to, right?
I think. I mean, I don't want to say for sure, but I feel like sometimes he does look at me and he's like, I don't really feel that like, oh, you're fucking up, dude. Like
no,
instead I feel like like man, I'm really proud of you, you know, because you're doing something that like I didn't get to do, or maybe wasn't able to do. Maybe he is always the life of the party, but when it comes down to the mic, it's like because it's completely different, you know. Right. So maybe it's something he just couldn't do personally. Maybe it's something he was not able to because, you know, finances, or maybe that he just was in the, you know, different place. Right. But whatever it is, I feel like they're supportive because of that, because they see that I'm not just fucking around like recording shit and like just it's not like you're like getting high on house and
right. It's not like you're like, oh, I'm just like I'm making music, but then you're like sitting on your ass not doing anything about it and like not working. Like they see that, you know.
Yeah, they see I still go to work in the mornings and you're like a passion. Yeah, and right now I was actually heading out, and he like my pops was like, "Where you going? You're gonna perform?" So I'm grabbing my stuff, and he was like, "No, I just got an interview." Yeah, so he's like, "What? Okay, that's cool." That's awesome. So it's like, yeah. My friends and my family have been, they're literally like the reason why I think at the end of the day, I was just able to say, you know what? Yeah, let me just do it, because I have all these great people behind me. There's no way I can fail, you know?
So my last question would be, where do you see yourself in 10 years with your music career?
10 years. Mm-hmm. 10 years is a good amount of time.
It is. A lot can happen.
A lot can happen.
And it might not just be just music. Like maybe you'll be doing some more stuff. Who knows? So.
Well, I again, like I like the way how we were talking earlier about Lighter Fluid, East of the River and all that. And I really love that those guys are able to share what they can do and how, I don't want to say easy, but how doable it can be. Right. And so in 10 years, I definitely want to start my team. I want to have my own team. Maybe not just a regular team, but let's just talk about like a record label, maybe.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I want to, stadiums, arenas, whatever it is, you know, like that's really where I would love to be, you know, that's the goal, you know. I'm ready for my future with Jesse Reyes. I'm ready for my future with Earl Sweatshirt, you know. Yes. I feel like the talent part of it is like that's there. Like every rapper is gonna tell you they're the best, right? But I am the best.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just kidding. Actually, you're a freak. I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm very excited to see all your goals and dreams come true.
Yeah, and so yeah, that is definitely what I want to. I just want to be able to do, not just by myself, but like with my team, and help other people. You're not doing it, and like it is okay if you do it like by yourself, even just for fun. Yeah, because you don't never know what the hell's gonna happen after. You're doing something for fun, and look at me. All right,
exactly.
I'm over here at the R-rated podcast.
Yeah,
and
we would have never met if you didn't just go for it, right? So there you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited about your album coming out. Make sure you guys go to the release party.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to rep your merch. So
thank you. Yeah. Thank you so you know much. What? I forgot to ask you your size too before I took off. So I was like, man,
it's okay.
All I have was a large.
Little big.
Yeah, it's a large. I was like, dang, I only have a large in my car. So
I can always tie the back with a hair tie. Don't worry. But I am an extra small.
Yeah. Yeah, just a completely wrong size. Yeah, maybe we'll get you something.
Yes,
sent
if
out
you have an extra small, send it my way. I would love to wear it because I love the logo. I love the slogan. Everything about it is really cool.
Thank you.
But yeah, throw out your social media and everything so people can follow you and stay in touch. And where can they listen to your music?
First of all, anything, like all of my projects, all of my videos and everything on abethefreak.com. Okay. That should take you to all of my socials. If you want to go straight to the socials, it's on IG and TikTok. It's Abe_the_freak. And other than that, the name is pretty easy to find. Like if you just go to Spotify, just start typing in Abe the Freak. I should be the one right there. I got a few EPs out, so if you guys want to get into this new one, make sure you guys go tune into those. I have 5 EPs out already, and this is my 6th one.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see what you do, and I'll make sure to listen to your music.
Thank you so much for having me, man. This is awesome. This was amazing, and I really appreciate you making time for having me. We're Latinos. We gotta stick together. Definitely.
We gotta support each other.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Yay! How do you feel?
I feel really good.